Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Studio 84, our very first podcast recorded together in the studio. So, manning the machines, we have Solo, and as our guest, Maxima. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, exciting to have you here. Thank you so much for making the time. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I always hate that question because it reminds me of job interviews, right? And I'm beyond the job interview stage. Anyway.
Definitely be on that stage, but we're still curious.
Yes. So that question always gets me very shaky. What does a person want to know? How do I introduce myself? Where do I start from? But anyway, I'm Maxima Nsimenta. I'm mother of two. It's Mother's Day, right?
Yes.
4-year-old John and 4-year-old Zula and 5-year-old John. I'm the founder and CEO of Livara, which manufactures amazing natural and organic hair care and skincare products made using shea butter. But prior to that, before I became an entrepreneur in Uganda,
Yes.
I was an electrical engineer working with Total EMP Uganda, and then later on as an expatriate engineer with Schlumberger, producing Congo's oil. I did that for 3 years and then came here. I was born and raised in Uganda. Went to Namagunga, Mount St. Mary's Namagunga for secondary school. Prior to that, I went to Namagunga Primary School. I was on that Namagunga Hill for 13 years. If there was a university, I swear to God, my parents would have sent me there. So, yeah, that is me really in a nutshell.
Bless. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so, Solo,
Yes.
would you like to also introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Solomon. I have to say welcome to Studio 84. And Maxima, we are blessed to have you as our very first guest in this studio.
It's a first.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
It's such blessings,
true.
real blessings. So when I send that booking link out, you are the first one to fill it and send it quickly. I now understand how you are blessed to pick and jump on opportunities like the one you're wearing. I mean, if we all responded to emails and opportunities the way you did to this link, I think we'd be very far.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I am Solomon Tumesije. I'm from Apt Media, typically now Studio 84 as well. And Maxima, in case you're wondering, Studio 84 is a collab between Apt Media and RBE Solutions. You already know those brands. In short, that's what it is. I like that when you walked in, you're like, oh, now the 84 makes sense.
You know, because this is plot 84, so I was curious that...
Why
you know that-
84?
No,
Because
I
you
was
knew I
not
wasn't
in
born in
Studio
84.
84. Not because you are not born in 84, but everyone has a history behind a number.
Yeah.
Right? 2024, this is 84. 24, if I add up the numbers in 2024, yes, there's an 8 and there's a 4, but did they really think through all that?
Yeah.
No. There's, which ages, how old.
Yeah.
It was just too much thinking. And then I came and saw plot 84.
Makes sense.
84. That makes sense
84,
now.
but also reminiscent of the nightclub Studio 54, where a lot of fun was had. And so when we came up with a number, the 84 just fell in naturally. And Studio 84 is pretty easy to remember
Yes,
and
it is.
say, right?
Yeah.
Has a
It's very
musicality
cool.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just thought, why not?
Yeah, and we are in a leap year, so 84 divided by 4, it makes sense. Sorry, I really got deep.
Sorry, what? What's 84 divided by 4? 21?
It's a leap year. The
21
number has to
forever
be
young.
divided by 4.
Exactly.
Wow, Maxima. Rafi, so that's just about it. So let's get to know Maxima.
Exactly. So why Livara?
You didn't tell us who you are,
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
apart from being the host of this podcast.
Rafi Lecoeur from RB Solutions and here for Studio 84. Happy to host you today. And RB Solutions, we specialize in graphic design, branding, strategy, and social media management. So anything to make the world look brighter, look more colorful, say it louder, say it better. That's where we want to be. And of course, podcasts, vlogcasts, that's also the way to go. A safe, quiet space where you can really share, engage, get to know each other better, and feel, with the kind of setup you're in that hopefully you'll be taken seriously, as you say it. So here we
Yeah,
are.
that's true. It's important the setting you're in. It's very important. It sets the tone. Maxime, I'm sure, knows a thing or two about branding and positioning and first impressions. Yeah.
Indeed.
I was very impressed with the fact that there was a Calendly sort of invite with different time slots from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. hourly. Who does that in Uganda? And then it was very easy to navigate to get a slot that suits me. I had picked a different date. It was easy to cancel and reorganize, and it was still available. Such digitization of services makes it so easy for us to live, and I'm really a supporter of that.
Oh, thank you. It's good to know that the system is indeed easy to navigate, and creativity knows no time. So that's why from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., some people are morning people, others like to work at night, or when they've closed their day, they've thought things through, that's when they feel more creative. Or the quiet or the still of the night sometimes is also very inspirational for others. So we don't want to put a stop to that. And indeed, people are welcome, and we're actually flexible. We'll try to be as flexible as possible for people to book the times that work best for them. You know, some people, their week is busy, might be able to do only weekends, might decide to come in and record a long session so that they, you know, this is a content creation space. So the time you need is the time we'll give you, and not just to record, but also with Solo's talent and his team, we'll be able to edit, package, create episodes for you, etc. So we're here to help out. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and right now we are working with the one camera which is permanently fixed in the studio for typical podcasters who just want the audio, the typical podcast, which is just audio. So the video comes as a complement, but for those who want to also post their podcasts on YouTube, we have a package that encourages us to bring in the video cameras and do it professionally with multiple cameras in the room. That way, when you post a podcast for the audio lovers, there's also a video version for the YouTube people, because most times people like to put a face to the voice or to the name, so to say. Yeah.
So there we are.
Glad to pioneer this.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Maxima, the future is the future of Studio 84 is wild. I know you're used to wild futures, so to say, if there is a thing like that. I mean, there's so much. Did you say we can't use the other words in here? But there's so much useless content out there, so much dirty music and all sorts of things out there that our young people are using their time up for. So our mission is to go out there, maybe we'll pick, I don't know. Our mission is to go out there and fill that same space with sensible content that will build them and grow them. That's why we have people like you here, Maxima, as a first guest. What would our life be, Maxima? I mean, we have channels like Bloomberg, like, all these big radios, BBC and all that. You go, by the time someone tunes into BBC, they are looking for serious stuff.
Oh, yes.
Do we have a version like that in Uganda or in Africa? I mean, there may be Bloomberg South Africa, but in Uganda, I can't think of people who do that, and we're here to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Speaking of pioneering and wild futures, back to Livara. Why Livara? Why did I start Livara? Sorry. So Livara, the concept of hair care and skincare for Africans started when I was still working in Congo, Point Noir. This is the Congo Brazzaville. I had my relaxed hair and I wanted to retouch it because after relaxing your hair, you need about 3 months. The growth is too much and you need to retouch it. So I went to these upscale salons on Charles de Gaulle Street in Point Noir, and I was kicked out of the first salon because they couldn't work on my hair. So it was Caucasian owned, but then run by Congolese, black Congolese. So I expected to be taken into the salon and, to be worked on. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I went to the next upscale salon because I had the money. I mean, my job I was getting in a worst month when I didn't do field work, maybe $8,000, $7,500. net take home. So I really could afford to. The average man, $10,000, that's good money. So I wanted good services for myself. So I went to the upscale salons for myself. But when I was kicked out of the third one, the lady advised that I go near the market, which was about 1.5 kilometers outside the city center. That's where I would find salons for me. So it really
rubbed you the wrong way.
Yes, I was
say the least.
mad. I was very, very mad. I went to a barber shop and shaved my head clean. I was pissed. That was it. I was never going to have hair that needed retouching at any salon, whatever the case. So I shaved it all off.
Wow.
And decided to start afresh.
Do you have a picture?
Yes, I have pictures. They thought I was mad when I went back to work because I left work with this big hair. My hair was really nice and beautiful. And then I came back with a bald head, really mad. And when you're in a company full of engineers that are supposedly smart, really the rate of madness is high. But I wasn't mad.
They're like, we've seen this before.
Yes, I wasn't the first.
And decided to take matters into your own hands.
Yes.
And it didn't stop there, did it? Yes, because this is what inspired you.
Yes, so when the hair had grown 4 months down the road, water wasn't enough to soften it for me to comb it. I needed some sort of conditioners to soften my hair. So when I went to the supermarkets to buy to buy the conditioners and oils, I just found a multitude of Indian oils, which are good for that thinner, lighter Indian hair, but don't sit well with our African hair. And then the conditioners were all very soft. But there was something else that I noticed on the shelf. Over 90% of the goods, from water to eggs, meat, yogurt, were all imported from Europe.
Wow.
In an oil-producing African country. It was ridiculous, right? So anyway, when I didn't find oils that worked for me, I decided to look on the internet for products for African hair. Internet digitization. You get that drift? Anyway, I found that there was a natural hair movement happening at the time. This was 2013. I was 3 months into my job, meanwhile. So there were products being made for natural hair, for African hair, but they were boasting of raw materials from Africa, specifically shea butter from Ghana. The others had coconut oil from Mombasa. Others had argan oil from Morocco. But in the end, it was amazing products, really amazing, for natural African hair. But they were made from Europe or America using raw materials from Africa. So when you do the math, especially for shea butter, the trees grow exclusively in Africa. It's a natural oligopoly. But the products that were amazing and niche were being made in America or Europe and being sold back to us in Africa. So along the value chain, the proportion of revenue to Africa was very limited. So for me, that was an opportunity. I mean, it's 100% African, check. They're amazing Africans all over the world, check. We can make it in Uganda, and specifically the Ugandan shea butter was the better of the two versions of shea butter because it's very potent with omega fatty acids and it's amazing for pharmaceuticals and cosmetic value.
Okay.
It's very unique and different from the West African shea butter. So for me, it was just immediate. That was it. So I had hair issues. I was going to solve hair issues for the world, and I was going to do it in Uganda. That was my purpose. So immediately at that point, I decided that I'm going to quit my job and start making these amazing products in Africa by Africans for Africa and the world. And we will have to compete with the likes of the L'Oreals and, all those big brands to show that we can also do the same for our kind of people from here.
Yes.
That was my dream.
Yes.
And it hasn't stopped up to now. The other thing is I wanted the money that is earned from the products to benefit the person at the end, at the last mile, the farmer, who actually takes time to go out and pick these nuts, collect them, dry. It's a long, arduous process to get the right quality of shea nuts from which we make these products. So I needed that person to feel the effect that the products brought to the general market. So I was also very keen on digitizing the value chain from the farmer. So I know Right now we have over 100,000 of them. We are yet to digitize majority of them because they meet away from their homes. So the ones who are digitized, we have a geo map of their location. We know how many trees are on their farms. We have trained them digitally. We've given them access to affordable credit. We've given them access to agro inputs. We had to get agro input dealers from the Gulu and Lira districts and take them to the village districts so that the services are closer to the people. I know the farmers. We have worked with the digital agents. We've seen people take their children from public schools to private schools. We've seen people educate their siblings and, take them to tailoring school. Some of them have local salons in the area. They have bought goats, cows, chicken, things that they were never able to do. Why? Because we are buying shea nuts from them,
Yes.
adding value, selling the shea nuts, exporting the shea butter. It's a value chain where also the last mile person benefits. So that is Livara in essence. But what does Livara mean? It's a name we prayed and fasted for. So I'm very spiritual, is what they call it.
Spiritual.
I believe in God, So when we're coming up with a name, I wanted a name that transcends time. Something like, Coke, Levi, Nike, Spanx. I love Spanx. Something, a name, Pepsi. I don't know what Pepsi even means, but it tastes really nice, especially this one without sugar. Anyway, so I wanted a name that resonates, that is easy off the tongue, and also that someone will remember. So I iterated words through the alphabet from A to Z. I was with my sister. We decided to first go to Ginger near the lake because it's peaceful.
Yeah.
And then started from A to Z, looking through words. We'd get like letter A, start either an animal's name, forger name. K, Kapinks, Kasan, Kadis. S, we had reached S. Swans are beautiful creatures. So we figured we shall name our brand Swan. We even formed a song, I'm swanning out. I want the world to know. Like, it's such a beautiful song. So the brand would really speak with that. But oops.
Diana Ross Swan.
And she had a big afro.
Yes.
It was just perfect. Sorry. But there was a company called Swan with an E, an electricals company in Europe that existed since 1920s. And it's huge.
You said you don't want to compete with that name.
We didn't. There's no way. So anyway, after about 700 iterations, we gave up. It was too much and we were hungry. So I decided to come back to Kampala. But along the way near Seta, it's a high school, we decided to try again. And that's where we started from the letter L, the letter of love, And the first word that came to mind was Livara. Then when we would go, after getting a word, we'd Google it to see if it exists. So Livara was a family name of 11 families in Alaska. And it means divine God, goodness, truth, unconditional love, gift, free will, ideal, whole healing. For me, perfect. That was it.
Ticked all the boxes.
This was the name.
Yes.
It has all my values, all our values. It was just perfect. So we registered it, and that's how Livara came into existence. So we've just started building. We immediately started building the brand, the look, the feel, the products. Everything was around that. Yes.
Wonderful.
So about the spirituality, on that one, I also hear that the answer didn't come to you while you were in Ginger by the water and busy fasting. It came to you a little bit later.
Things never come immediately when you want them. This God of ours takes his time, but when it comes,
yes,
it's perfect.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And the important thing is that you had the answer, so that's what matters.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And we had the phones to check Google.
And you
imagine we had started with I'm swanning out, would be sued senseless for a song. And then the name would be confused for some electronics company.
Wow.
Anyway, it was nice to do that.
So from the bountifulness of the shea butter to the beauty of the women that you're actually helping,
Yes.
why was it so important to empower women with a product like Livara? Because it started with the hair, but it's gone beyond the hair right now. Why was it so important for you to give this to women?
When I was in school, we had some Indian kids and some, we used to call them half caste. I don't know if that's a correct word.
We used to call them half caste. I actually don't know why.
They were biracial.
Biracial.
That's the
I
right
think,
word.
yes.
Yes, that's the woke word. So, so they were allowed to have their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for us, there was an unwritten rule that we were supposed to cut off our hair. So we grew up seeing these people with their beautiful long hair.
Yeah.
They're allowed to have it.
Yeah.
But for us, somehow, we are not allowed to have ours. Then when we question, they tell us that it's difficult to manage.
Mm-hmm.
But is it really difficult to manage? So beyond that, when I had the product issue not being available for us, when I searched on the net, there were several people in the olden days who had amazing hair and would often craft their hair different ways,
Yes.
creating these amazing things. So historically, it's been possible to manage the hair, and it has managed to grow to long lengths. It's just that suddenly someone said that your hair is not manageable, it's not good the way it is, so you need to cut it off. That thing really affected me as a person. Somehow, you feel less than. It's not directly put in your head, but because something is taken away from you without your will, there are esteem issues. I need to go back. Maybe someone else who has hair is better than me. They can do it better, maybe. For me, I can't. So even innovation around hair has never truly come from Africa.
Yes.
It's just that the first person who relaxed hair was a black slave in the US. But beyond that, hair combs, conditioners, all that was never done. So we were all forced to believe that your hair should be straight, should look a certain way. The lawyers are not allowed to have their normal hair out because by law, they can't be themselves. They have to look a certain way. So it's important to empower myself, my children, and people like me to believe in who they are naturally. Because also innovation and creativity in the field will arise from that. If a young child can play with her hair and maneuver it and see, the different variations possible, then they can think about a detangling comb that will work for them, not one made in China by Chinese who thought for us. They can think about a hair dye and feel the transition of a dye through the particles of hair and produce something. But they can only do that if they have experience with it from childhood. We have very few dermatologists. We don't have hair engineers here because we've not been given the opportunity to think and create in the field simply because we don't have access to the tools that enable us to think. So a product which manages hair, yes, in beautiful family-centered salons is good. But beyond that, can we have content that shows people how to manage hair? Can we work with schools to empower kids to manage their hair so that it's not deemed, uncouth, difficult to handle, but a distraction, as if we cannot study without our hair?
Yeah.
If I had my hair and I'm looking beautiful, my friend, I would attack that book with beauty.
Yes.
And I would, get everything I need beautifully. I've seen my children with their hair think, create.
Yeah.
And it's not an issue, it's just hair. In the morning, I have to put product, comb it, maybe style it, and move on with the day. Because I have it, it's natural, it's okay. But if I'm forced to cut it off, once I'm given the opportunity to work with it, I will spend eons of, hours just playing with it because it's a different being that wasn't mine before, but now I have it. So can we change our policies so that children can, manage their hair? Can parents stop disturbing children, babies, pulling their hair so hardly? They come to the salon and they're crying, but you have a product to ease that. Can a child grow up smelling a sweet-smelling product, put it in their hair, and know that I can actually have sweet-smelling things painlessly added to my hair, and I'm okay with that? Can they swim, condition their hair, and move on with life? Can they not be told, oh, you must hold it like this, keep it this way, because it will? Can people appreciate that tangling happens? hair can shrink, and it's okay. You just have to style it differently, and it's longer, and it's fine. Can we appreciate our beauty without having to bleach?
Yes.
You know, put in all sorts of weaves and other things because you think your natural hair is bad. You know, in case you have alopecia, can you think around it? Oh, my hair is going. What can I do to make sure I bring it back? That's why you have hair engineers coming up. You know, the what's it called, where they get the hair from
Follicles?
here and then they implants
transplants
and
and-
all
yeah.
that stuff. It happens because people can think, they can see. You know, people can think about food intake. When they take better nutritious food, the hair grows, it thrives. There's, hormones during pregnancy, the hair thrives. We don't really have many stories about that. For other people, it breaks after giving birth.
Yes.
Can we have people who can stop that or advise around that? Because hair actually affects who you are as an individual. Yeah, so that's what the brand is about, empowerment of the woman especially, but also the man, the African man, through seeing the possibility in their face and giving them the opportunity to think beyond what they have. Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned your story of hair in school and how the students with a lighter complexion than ours were always allowed to have long hair and even tied like this and
You
do
know?
those puffs and all that, and yet the black girls were not. And then it reminds me, the other day I saw pictures of a certain school. I was looking on their website, and they have like a barber shop in the school. Maybe you may want to throw some Livaras in some schools to manage girls' hairs. You may want to think
Please
about
tell
it.
me which barber shop that is, because I will attack it with our product. But yes, we are looking at maybe having franchises in the schools.
Yeah.
But it's not just about having a salon. It's empowering the
Teaching
girls.
Yes,
girls,
yeah.
yes, how to manage it.
Yes, because also there's us putting a salon in the school, and then girls spend time
In the
in the salon,
yes.
or thinking about the salon,
Yeah,
or
you want to teach them
lining
to
up
manage it themselves.
from the
They can
ground
use
up.
the
And then also
product.
there are some who can't afford the
Yeah,
salon services,
yeah.
but can afford products to use in their, in their little spaces. So it's yes, for sure, we are going to have such franchises.
I'll share that school. That'll be a good place to start because they already have a presence.
Yes.
So you speak to them, say, but you have girls. What are the girls using? We can help them manage their hair without having to cut it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also skill them, even beyond school. Can they also start up their own, salons?
Thing, yes.
Can they also make their own, the weaves, the biodegradable
Yeah,
weaves using the banana fiber, of which we have a lot of? Can we teach them to just innovate around the area so that they're happy, comfortable individuals? Some might say it's a very small thing, but it's a very fundamental thing.
No, I totally, and I see where you're coming from, because bottom line, when you give that liberty to someone, you're also giving back individuality
Yes.
and originality, because that's also a form of expression, isn't it? And it's part of some of life's milestones or stepping stones as you develop as a teenager, even as a child. Everyone is individual. Everyone's hair is different. So I absolutely see where you're coming from. It's also very, very important for identity
Yes.
as you grow, especially if you're facing health challenges and your hair changes.
Yes.
And both for men and women, it does. There are seasons in life. You're healthier, less healthy. So if you can have that kind of support. In some cultures, they say our hair is our crown. So
Yes.
if your crown falls off all of a sudden, or is not standing the way it should, definitely impacts you on so many different levels.
Yeah.
And then we get judged, you come in and the expression, a bad hair day, when I first heard that, I was like, wow, there's actually a term almost for feeling when your hair's just not behaving the way it should.
Yes.
And it impacts you.
Absolutely.
So definitely, I absolutely see where that's coming from.
And even for hair, there's a time when I was very stressed, and then my hair started falling out. And then when the business was growing, people look at you and they want to see you with the long, thick hair. But in all honesty, I prefer my hair off and short. It's just easier.
Manageable.
Right? So how did I have... My hair was falling out, in the middle. I was stressed. I didn't like to have my hair on. I preferred a short little haircut because it makes me look better, in my opinion. So anyway, so I had a problem. What do I do to make sure that my hair keeps growing? That's when I decided to do the dreadlocks, right? Because with dreadlocks, it's 100% comfort for the hair. It doesn't drop out, it doesn't fall off, and it gives the hair time to grow and thicken.
Okay.
Right? Also, I can swim, I can run, I can do anything I want, and I can stand under the shower, and my hair won't do funny things. So I decided to go this route. It's just easier and more manageable, and also the hair starts thickening. It adds to my business, the challenges of running businesses where you need hair, but also it has rebuilt my identity, because now I'm getting to relearn how to enjoy hair, which previously I wanted off. But yes, in 10 years, will I want to cut off my hair? Absolutely. Because by then would have stabilized.
Wow.
And then go for another change.
Maxima, before Rafi asks you to share what the future for Livara is, we wouldn't let you go without asking you to tell us about BNI, because that's a space where we three of us know each other very well from, and you've been there, I think, for more than a year, I believe, or two. What has it been like for you? Any benefits from there? How did you end up in BNI? That's Business Network International. Share just one story. I know you have a story. Even to do with Stanford Seed.
I have many stories. So now I'm hearing my voice in my ears.
Isn't that beautiful?
I know, right? So I want to make it sexier.
Yes, you always wonder why those guys are wearing the headphones. Like,
It's like you're romancing the mic.
Exactly.
Ooh-wee. Let's keep it clean, Rafi.
Why me?
I know. Oh my God.
Why me?
So yeah. So BNI. I had been courted to join BNI, the Business Network International, for several years, since 2017, by Dr. Vincent Bachenga. But I'd always said no. One, I have people anxiety. I don't do very well in crowds. I prefer my little lonely space. And I was sort of comfortable in that space. But anyway, when time came for Livara to grow, and I had been facing challenges of getting credible service providers, credible people to help me scale the business beyond where it was, and also think tanks for scaling the business beyond the boundaries of the country. There was no place where I could find such people together. Rotary was for social work, mainly for retirees. Now it's getting the younger people. It was just social philanthropic work. I don't think I would have started good business discussions in the space, but I am part of Rotary. I looked in other spaces, there was nothing like that. So I decided to give BNI a try. So I joined January last year, and I came with a mandate. One, I'm going to export shea butter in bulk. Two, I'm going to get people to help me construct my business. And the third one, which was a bonus, when talking to Diana, the founder of BNI Uganda, I told her about this dream that I had of myself going to Stanford. And as you can see, my screensaver is the Stanford GSP. And it has been like this for years. Like,
really?
Yes.
Even before you joined?
Yes, since 2017.
Wow.
I had dreamt.
Now you drive another question about dream boards and things like that.
I had dreamt of going to Stanford, and I really wanted to go to Stanford. So I have two phones. Both of them have the GSB
The same screen
as a screensaver, and it's been there for a long time. So
wow.
when she saw it, she said, you want to go to Stanford? I told her, oh, yes, it has always been my dream. And then also I'd shared this same dream with my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law had mentioned to me before that, Max, you've overleft this as a dream, always a screensaver on your phone. When are you actually going to go ahead and apply? So he bought the GMAT books and sent them to me twice, the year before, in 2022, and last year as well. So he bought me the set of 2022, sent it. I had the books I didn't read. This year, he sent them and told me there's an option, GRE, in case you don't do the GMAT. Wow. So when Diana saw my screensaver, she said, actually, you can start with a Stanford seed and help your team because you have management issues.
Yes.
And she said that they are doing their onboarding. They're looking for companies to join.
Yes.
And she has people that she can recommend me who can to join, right? So she put me in touch with, what's his name? The, the current CEO of, what's this hotel where we used to have our meetings from? Fairway.
Yes. Yes.
Shetty? No.
Sam Shetty?
Sam Shetty, yes. He put me in touch with Sam Shetty and several other people. So when the Stanford Seed people came to have their meeting about Stanford Seed with different stakeholders, they knew about me and Livara and my story.
Wow.
And I didn't tell them about that. Meaning Diana had gone ahead to not only recommend me, but through her circles, tell them about me and ask them to recommend me. So the Stanford Seed guys were like, everyone is talking about Maxima and Livara, everyone. And they had this whole list of things that I had done. I had never shared that with them.
Wow.
So they were ambassadors of me who went before me. And when I applied, it was very easy to get in. So with the Stanford Seed program, they came in, they're empowering my team. I see more responsible people, more hungrier people for growth. My team is growing and it's very visible, right? But beyond that, Amir, my brother-in-law, told me, okay, now that you have Stanford Seed, can you apply for the, to go to Stanford for your MBA? So again, Diana said, I can, be your reference and stuff like that. But then my mentor, Vincent Pachenga, has always been the person that I bounce ideas off of. So when I decided to take the leap of faith and actually open the application and start applying, I asked him to recommend me because he knows me. And then Amir, who has also seen me grow, we have a partnership. I started a pharmacy when I was in Makere, in Bara. So together we have seen it grow now into a hospital. Wow. So I asked him to also recommend me because those are the two people who really knew their dreams and they were silently pushing forward.
Yes.
But anyway, I applied. Long story short, I told the Stanford Seed guys, they approved of the different people that I had, recommended to support me through the BNI network. And I got into Stanford. Then I got a scholarship to go to Stanford, a full scholarship. And like, okay, this is really working out. So anything I ask God right now, I think he just gives a yes. Wow. But anyway, it was Diana pushed me again to reevaluate because she said, you're in this network, but beyond this, what else will you do? Because I told her of my need to sell shea butter to the world. Everything I do is shea butter sales.
Shea butter related.
Shea butter. Said, you will get the people to walk you to the places you want to get to for the shea butter in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley. Yeah. So apply. And she opened the link, said, just apply, start. It doesn't hurt you to just apply.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's how the whole thing came in.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They say no and we move on. Yes.
And through the network, I've really seen growth. There are many stories I can share of the different people that have impacted me in the network. And I'm happy.
Wow.
But most importantly for me, my Stanford dream from a long time ago was actually visualized and realized through the BNI network.
So what I hear, Maxima, is people are mentioning your name in spaces that you could not have dreamed of. And it's more than making the money for yourself and for Livara.
Yes.
Wow. Because most times when people are in BNI, they're looking to, or even people outside, they're asking, but does it make sense? Will I make money? I mean, clearly, it's definitely more than money.
Absolutely.
Yes. Definitely more than
Always more than money.
Wow.
And people may come in here and want to just make a sale. But beyond the sales, do you have people who will vouch for you? People who will help see your risks that you're taking come to fruition? Because imagine we're building our factory. It's a 2.5 billion shilling investment. I'm not going to be around. But I trust the contractor who I've chosen through BNI to actually see it to fruition. He's also walked a 1-year journey with me, going through drawings,
Yes.
visiting the site, even before we got the money to do that.
Yes.
He's given of his time, energy, and money to actually take me there, because he drives me there, and I don't pay for fuel. Then not only that, when we visit other places with structures that he has put up, he takes the time to resell his dream. It's more like telling me, Maxi, trust me, I can do this because I have done it before, but not intentionally telling you that. It's like it's built on trust, but trust that has to be tangible. It's beyond I'm buying a bottle of water from you, putting that into your pocket, but I'm helping you build a sustainable business as you scale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And the power of BNI, as we so often call it, which indeed goes beyond the money, the
Yes.
relationships, validating you,
Yes.
believing in you, and being your brand ambassadors as well.
Yes.
So in that case, you've definitely succeeded, and we look forward to your stories from Stanford.
You know, for me, I have one. I mean, even if I stopped here, but maybe I won't.
No,
But I
definitely.
have-
Knowing
I have-
you won't. You won't. This
I
train
have-
ain't stopping.
You know, I've
Rafi, you can-
really
sorry.
benefited.
Maxima, you can't stop. Even you know you can't stop.
Absolutely. And so, Maxima, may we ask you now, on a personal level, you'll be traveling to further your studies, your experiences, your connections abroad. But what is the future then? Do you have a clear vision of what the future will be for yourself and for Livara?
I'll definitely own planes.
Transporting shea butter?
Anyway,
I mean, if DHL owns a fleet
you know,
of planes,
Livara
to
fleet.
transport documents. Okay, fine. This is transport bigger things, but they had a fleet of planes transporting documents.
True, true. That's why I was saying transporting shea butter, right?
Yeah. Even you.
solely for shit.
Solely.
Anyway,
Solely shea lines, yes.
you know. So anyway, I envisage having franchise Livara salons in all metropolitan cities in the world to serve the biracial children who have African origin
Yeah.
and people.
Yeah.
I envisage seeing a fully digitalized network of our shea salons, family salons, and the farmers. I also see Livara venturing into other value chains along the natural and organic route
Okay.
that support, most importantly, the shea farmers. Some things like apiary farming, so the beeswax, the honey, the bee venom, the richness around bees. I see us doing that. Then aloe vera farms, because aloe vera thrives outside. Sunflower oil, because we use that in the products that we make, and it's also rich for cooking and other areas. But yes, I see Livara growing beyond Uganda, beyond the African continent, but in all metropolitan cities across the world. My initial dream was I wanted to see 6,000 Livara stores across the world. Why? Because Amancio Ortega, who is the person that inspired me to own the value chain, and someone that I really see has done well across value chain management and growth for Zara. He had 6,000 stores in Europe alone. So that's where the number came from. Like, okay, 6,000 stores for me in the world. But it has to go beyond that. Maybe we'll get there. But
Yeah, we
yes, that's the dream that I envisage. And then also Livara inspiring younger people. I mean, I didn't steal national money to do anything. I have hustled. I was trained in Makerere. I partook in the making of the hybrid car, the Kira EV, when I was in school. I worked throughout school. My parents didn't leave me a trust fund. One, they couldn't afford to do that anyway. My dad wore back clothes when he was in the village growing up. So really, I've hustled and I've done my best to grow. And I've done it legitimately. So I want people to learn from my story that they too can do it, provided they just put in the hard work. Because this has come with a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. And it is possible. So I want mine to be a testament that it is possible for an African to actually be on the billionaire list with a brand that's impacting the world.
With a fleet of planes.
You know, and not
banking.
choppers taking kids to play around.
Please don't open that kind of worms.
That flight landed. That flight landed.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maxima. Rafi, do you want to wrap this up?
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Your enthusiasm is always contagious, and it's beautiful to hear about this vision and this dream. And thank you so much for being so open in sharing it as well, and for having such a clear path ahead. So to the beauty of women, to your success at Stanford, and to Livara's growth, we thank you so much. Solo, thank you so much also for navigating the technology for us today here at Studio 84. And thank you so much for pioneering this with us. And we hope to host you again and again. We can also host you all the way from Stanford. So we'll be waiting for that as well.
You know?
You know?
You know? And then also, I'd love to see my story, my journey also told in video. Maybe from where we started from, the little desks we were working from. To
That's
when
why I was
we're
asking you
huge.
about
So,
your shaved head.
you know, I have those pictures and I have the stories with Yuri. So I would love to
Yeah.
walk that journey and have a documentary about it as the story unfolds.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Your team is there.
You know?
Thank you, Maxima.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Till the next one.
All right, on to the next one from Studio 84.